Hi guys. Hi guys. So welcome to the today's mentoring session. We had a lot of things going on. So we released a course recently, and for that we're just doing this mentoring session, a free mentoring session today. And yeah, I'm really excited. So if you guys need us to talk about a particular topic, uh, we would help you out. This session is basically for that. We're going to help you one on one. So ask away with whatever questions you have, and we will try to cover all the questions that you have. To talk a little bit about our course, we are so this is an 8 week course, hands-on course, where you'll be having like 6 weeks of live training with us, and it's going to be all about how you can pick the right data science project, and you will be understanding the entire life cycle of the data science project. So the instructor is here. I'll let him talk. So.
All right, so about the course, the course we would be having a lot of content and mostly focused on data science projects. We take or go through the entire data science life cycle during the course, and focus on areas that you haven't worked on in the past, or areas that's important for landing a job, and you need to focus on those areas, and we would pick projects or help you pick projects that helps you showcase those skills in your resume.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so if you guys want to like get the how to get into this course, we will link it in our bio on Instagram at storytelling by data. So you can get the form where you fill it up, and we'll be interviewing you, so that you have the prerequisites for the course. So yeah. Okay, now let's get started with some of the most common. I think probably the topics that we've talked about so far are all related to how do you get into data and things like that. I wanted to talk a little bit more today, like especially growing in the career. I think this part we have not spoken about, and I think many of our subscribers and viewers would be interested to know how you can grow your career in data science or data analytics. So do you have any tips for someone who how can they grow? Like suppose they join as a data scientist, and what is your like career path look like? Is it something like very easy and straightforward, or is it like there are ways where you if you're super technical, you tend to go with what kind of routes, what are the career paths that they have, and if you are like I don't want to be like so involved in coding and things like that, so what are the routes what are the options that they have?
Absolutely, I think this is a very very good question. Um, Again, I didn't know a lot when I just started the career in data science, but over the years I had to learn and pick up those understanding, and how to build the team, and what is a career path and things like that. So definitely there's no one correct answer here, but I would like to say the general directions in which you can move. Every company has different career options or names and things like that. Like certain companies call data scientist 1, data scientist 2, data scientist 3, or engineer level 6, level 7, level 8, and things like that. Um, but in general, you have two paths when you are starting out your career in data science, or software development in general. You have the technical route, and then you have a route that's more on the management side, leadership side. So I would say start your career, get a couple of years under your belt. If you're looking at being more technical, usually about 5 years into your career, you would start focusing more towards the technical roles or the leadership roles. Again, if you're transitioning from another job, you have enough maturity, you have enough EQ skills and leadership skills, you could start transitioning into leadership positions much sooner. And if you take the leadership positions, it's usually you start with a manager, then a senior manager, data director, senior director, VP, senior VP, and executive and chief CTO and chief data officer and things like that. On the other side, you have technical growth where you have started as data scientist or junior data scientist, and you have data scientists followed by senior data scientists, and then you move on to more like principal data scientist or chief data scientist. Those are some of the technical growth path in the career. You can be the team lead. Again, team lead comes. It depends. It's a mix of the combination of both leadership skills and technical skills, and those are the two different career paths, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think when it comes to like data analytics, it is like, I feel like, so for many people who are like trying to transition from different fields, especially non-technical background folks. I think the best way to get into data science is keeping like data analytics as like a stepping stone. So I think for a data analyst, that way it's going to be a little different path. It's going to be like a data analyst, then a data scientist, and then you can either choose if you want to go into like the managerial kind of positions, or you want to become more technical.
Technical expert, yeah.
Yeah. So I think for that, I think data analysts definitely, they have another, choice of becoming a data scientist, or they can just go managerial type of positions.
That's true. If your ultimate goal is to become a manager and be in the leadership, then probably staying in data analytics is probably a better thing to do, because you grow as a data analyst, you get more exposure to the company data and company information and how the company is doing, and then can continue to grow in the management in that field. But if you are passionate about data science, you don't have to come to data science and go to managerial positions. You could always go from data analytics.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that like people just DM and ask is one of the major things, right? Like once like because there are so many people who kind of enroll in the data science because it's the buzzword right now. Many people just enroll in the course and they figure out that data science is really not for them. And they've already wasted couple of like maybe years of time studying, couple of years of time studying data science. I just recently spoke to a student who was saying that I wasted like almost 1 year studying data science, but now I don't like it. Like, do you have any advice for such people?
Definitely, I think talking to more data scientists upfront to understand, or like following us on Instagram where we talk about what data scientists do and what are some of the important skills. Having a coaching call could also help to decide whether this is something for you or not. We could do some coaching calls in understanding your unique scenario and help you out answering your questions that you have. Definitely collect more information. It's like skimming through a book before you decide to read the entire book. At any point, if you don't like it, you should stop. And it's better to sample it early on and decide on the book rather than reading half of the book and then deciding not to read. So you already wasted half of the book. In this case, it's a course or the education that you're going through for data science.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think many of them do that, right? Like, like you first of all don't ask questions, and then I think that is one thing that we can really set you apart. Like, start reaching out to people and ask them for help. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I think many people, that's what you have to get a mentor or someone who can help you decide or help you decide decide what is good for you. Because data science is really just not for everyone, and just taking the courses and then realizing rather you can just take that call and understand what exactly the data scientists, data analysts, whichever data field they do. And I think that's a very great start for anyone who's moving, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And another topic that I wanted to like discuss for this session was so once like you grow to the like senior manager kind of data science role, right? So uh, what are some things like, so as a senior manager of data science, can you give people like an explanation as to what exactly do you do? Do you like code every day, or what does a senior manager of data science do basically?
Sure, interesting question. Yeah, it's about managing the team. Senior manager has roles. The main important roles is to grow the team, make sure the projects are on time. Manage the team. As you have more people in your team, team management becomes important. Budget handling, time. Managing the time and resources, and making sure your team is doing good. Reviews, hikes. A lot of these managerial activities is one of the key things. Apart from that, in order to manage, if you have some data science knowledge, definitely that's going to be useful in order to make certain decisions, certain planning for projects and things like that. As far as I go, I still do a little bit of technical work, not a little bit, quite a lot of technical work. I'm in the reviews. I even code and contribute to some projects. That's about me. And as time progresses, I'm looking to move out of those very technical aspects and move more towards the management.
So is it exciting like what you're doing now?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So what happens if someone wants to move into more of a technical route? Like, what is the next step after a like senior data scientist?
In the technical round, you just focus and grow in with a technical depth, right? You are trying to become a master of a research field, or you're trying to become a master of certain applications. So you focus on and learn and stay technical as much as you can, and then continue to grow. The titles are different for different companies, for sure. But yeah, you continue to grow. You continue to get promotions, title changes. If nothing else, your salary keeps growing every year or so. Correction for inflation, performance-based, increase in salaries and things like that. So one thing is you continue to grow, and usually you get more responsibility as you grow. You could start handling projects on your own. You can make decisions on the project. You would have junior data scientists under you to guide and mentor them. You could work on certain architecture parts of it. You'll be part of the review team and things like that. So you're continuing to grow your knowledge and contributing as a team member without having to worry about the management, the politics, the management of people, resources, money, budgets, and things like that. You're focused more on the technical side, and you contribute as a technical expert.
Yeah, and I think these days I think the product data analysts, I think that kind of role is product data managers, not data analysts. Product data managers are like becoming the new thing. Do you have any idea about those kind of roles?
I've been starting to hear that. I don't have much clarity on what that role. I mean, I know what needs to be done for a data science project or company which is using AI and data science, but product data managers, I'm guessing it's product managers with data knowledge, but I could be wrong. I don't know exactly what that role entails.
Yeah, I was reading that even analytics engineers are coming in. Yeah, that was like an interesting role, analytics engineers.
Yeah, I've
So
heard of the BI engineers too, data analyst engineers.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not clear
there's
about
so
what that
many. I
means.
think it's
Yeah.
like just people are just inventing new roles as like the technology like is expanding so much. I think the number of roles are like so much, especially in the data space, that like obviously it's very hard to keep track.
Absolutely.
But I
Yeah.
think the most important thing is to actually look at the job description and then apply, right?
Absolutely. That's very much true what you said. Just look at the job description. Don't look at the job title all the time. For someone, data scientist could be the job that a data analyst would be doing. And some companies I might call a senior data analyst or a data analyst, and they expect you to know some machine learning and things like that. So always read the job description and see if
Yeah.
the skills match yours. And again, you don't have to have 100% skills to apply to those jobs. I see a lot of times the resumes are not even 20% fit and they still apply. But of course, a lot of times we have the automation to take care of removing those resumes. But sometimes I'd like to go in and see if you have left out anyone because of automation that's rejecting. And I see a lot of those things. So don't be afraid if you're at least 50 to 70% match for the job. Go ahead and apply.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I read somewhere that women apply only when it's like 100% match,
Yeah,
and men apply even if it's just 50. And
absolutely. I think.
and I think that's a very good attitude to have. Like, you just, even if it's like 50%, you just have to apply, and yeah, like there's nothing wrong in applying. So if you have at least 50% match, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, right now we see a lot of mismatch between what someone mentions on the resume to what they're actually capable of, what the skills are. Uh, I know that data science has been very hot today in the market, and everyone wants to call themselves data scientists without having the skills, or they would have hacked around, done some course. It really depends company to company what the company is looking for. Definitely not hackers, but you need to start understanding machine learning in order to be and continue to work in the data science world. Uh, so focus on your basics there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think also like a lot of our viewers on Instagram and even YouTube are all trying to get into the data world, like data science. And I think there are so many people who like just get into it, like we were just talking, that someone's done this course, right? So what is like that, do you have any advice for someone who's just like thinking about it? I think there were a couple of resources that we shared on Instagram too about this, on how you can go about and start at least looking. At least one was mentoring and coaching and things like that. But someone who is like just not sure yet, like like just browsing through a couple of videos, and don't even have the skills for like data. Because I heard that there were the 12th grade students who are looking into data science. Yeah, so for someone like that, like what do you have any like advice? What I was giving was like just YouTube and just like follow people in the space,
Yep.
and so that they can get that idea of what exactly we do. That was one advice that I gave. Do you have any advice?
Sure, yeah. So whenever we see that youngsters wants to get into this, there's nothing wrong in getting into it. Just make sure that they're not just after the shiny things, right? I mean, you could build an app, post it on the system. That's good. That's a project. That's a mini project. That's success. Once you do that, don't assume that you know data science. Or when you build a predictive model and deploy, doesn't mean that you know data science. By just copying the code on Medium or LinkedIn or to a data science and typing that in, running, setting up the environment. Yes, that's teaching you some skills, but that doesn't make you a data scientist. right? So you got to focus on the fundamentals. So focus on why we do something. Focus on what is the logic, how does logic work, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, mathematics behind it. So focus on these fundamentals before you can like call yourself a data scientist. There's nothing wrong in doing projects. I did projects which I didn't understand when I was in 12th grade, 11th grade. I built a lot of projects and I was doing it for the fun of it. But I never called myself as a data scientist. Or at those times, I was building a lot of robots and electronic circuits. I didn't call myself an electronics engineer at that point. So don't make that mistake of calling yourself a data scientist. If you just implemented a project, make sure you know enough to call yourself a data scientist. Otherwise, you'll come to the interview and you'll go with the wrong expectations and you'll probably not get selected. So focus on the fundamentals. I think there are a lot of courses addressed to school kids. I am wondering, like they are still not ready with the fundamental skills that are required, and someone's teaching them AI and machine learning, and they are getting false hope that they already know AI and machine learning. Yeah, they can hack around. Anyone who knows how to type can copy the code, put it into a system, and if you have some recording, someone can follow exact steps, run the code, and execute it. That's just mimicking. There's nothing. There's just copying. There's this uh, satisfaction. You understand how the whole system works in general to copy and make it work, but you don't understand why it works. You cannot be called as a data scientist. So if that's something that's interesting, go ahead and do it. Hackers, I was hacking, not in terms of like hacking into someone's computer or network, more in terms of taking something that was built for something else and using it for a different purpose. Um, Robotics or electronics. I used to do a lot of hacking in those aspects.
Yeah, and I think many many students personally like have reached out and they're like, I'm in 12th grade, like I want to learn data science. I'm like, you're in 12th grade, you're already like, and they've actually started learning a little bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
every day they're spending time just watching YouTube videos and all that. I
Mm-hmm.
was very surprised on how people like are already thinking about data science, and it pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we have a question from Raja. Where do I learn fundamentals? Fundamentals, there are various sources from where you can learn. You can learn by just observing too, right? Machine learning is similar to how a child learns or a dog learns or any animal kind of learns. So if you understand that, you kind of have some of the foundations for machine learning. So if you have a kid or if you have a pet that's growing up, how you teach, how it learns, how you show the difference between one and the other classification, be it regression. It's similar to a person learning, especially neural networks, right? So uh, one is that you can learn by observing a lot. If you're talking about learning fundamentals like mathematics, a lot of websites. Three Brown One Blue, I think, is one of the YouTube channels that has some great videos on it. Um,
Better explain.
BetterExplain.com has great videos on intuition for mathematics. I love that website, and everything that he puts out is amazing content. I got a lot of math concepts cleared after watching it, um, and things like that. So don't buy hard things. Try to understand. Try to find intuition in those concepts and learn the basics. Statistics. There are a lot of books. Statistics sold. You have so much content. I think even Three Brown, One Blue channel also has a lot of good content on statistics. So things like that. You could search. You can go through books if that's something that's interesting for you. Uh, Go through YouTube videos if that's something interesting for you, and try to work on as many projects as possible. And when you build a project, just go back and think, how is everything working? Why is it working? Spend time in analyzing. If you are solving a problem, try spend some time thinking, how can you solve this problem before you look at the solution. All right, so that's what is going to help you understand what's going on there. And in this day and world, when we have solution, we want to see the solution very quickly. That's where the copy paste happens. But if you spend some time thinking, how would you go about solving? Maybe implement it. Maybe it's not optimized. That's fine. And then you can look at the solution and then optimize it. That's my suggestion on building the fundamentals and basics, getting it strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So I think we're almost close to the end of the session. This was great. I think we did speak a lot about a couple of topics.
The general questions we've been getting lately
from
on
you
Instagram.
guys, yeah.
And
Yeah. So, with that, let's wrap up the session. Thank you, Raja, for asking that question. And it was a great session. And also, do check out our course. It's build your data science portfolio course, where you'll be building from start to finish. You'll pick your own data set. Do a data science project, and we'll be helping you on the resume and your social media profiles. So you'll have to fill up a form first for this course, then we'll be interviewing you. So get your spot now. The link will be in our bio on Instagram.
So the ideal candidate would be someone who's learned the machine learning concepts, are struggling to find a good project, or they don't have a unique good project that showcase their skills to the employers when they're interviewing. So someone might be interviewing, someone might be graduating soon, looking for a job in the next 6-8 months. Those are the kind of candidates that we are designing this course for, to help you out with the project. It'll be 8 weeks. We'll work on the project. We'll work on showcasing the project to the world and improving your portfolio resume.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Raja, for joining in. We had a nice session. I think someone else joined in. So, we're ending the session now. So, thank you for whoever joined in.
All right. Have a nice